Good afternoon, students. We have completed our third chapter in our previous class, and today onwards we are going to discuss our next chapter, carbon and its compounds, fourth chapter. Okay, and please understand a major portion is deleted from this chapter for this academic year, so that we need to study only a basic idea from this chapter. Okay, about carbon. So let us start discussing the chapter carbon and its compounds. Okay. First of all, you should have an idea about carbon. What is carbon and what are the chemical properties of carbon and what is the speciality of carbon. All these things should be discussed as an introduction. Okay. Before that, you should know what is organic chemistry. Organic chemistry. Okay, what is organic chemistry? Organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the carbon containing compounds. Okay, organic chemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the carbon containing compounds. So it's organic chemistry studies the chemical properties or the physical properties of carbon containing compounds. Okay, and next one, why there is a chemistry, branch of chemistry which deals only with carbon. Okay, why there is a branch of chemistry which deals with the carbon containing compounds. What could be the reason behind it? Please understand, it's because of a major portion of the compounds, major portion of the compounds are made up of carbon. There are a large number of carbon containing compounds. Okay, for example, you would have studied about sugar, right? You would have seen this sugar and diamond, coke or coal or food, vegetables, petrol, diesel, fossil fuels. All these substances consist of carbon, and please understand, coke is almost a pure form of carbon. Okay, almost a pure form of carbon. It's a black color rock-like material, coke. It is almost a pure form of carbon, and diamond is also formed of carbon, right? And these two have entirely different appearance, right? It has a shiny appearance and this one is having a dull appearance, but both of the substances are formed of carbon. And this one, sugar, is another compound formed of carbon, but it consists of hydrogen and oxygen as well. Okay, so there are lots of compounds which around you which consist of carbon. Okay, that's why there is a branch of chemistry which deals with only with carbon containing compound, and that branch of chemistry is called as organic chemistry. Have you understood? Okay, but one more thing you should understand, our earth crust consists of only 0.2% of a very little amount of carbon containing compounds, and also the atmosphere consists of very less amount of carbon containing compounds. Okay, that is 0.03% of carbon dioxide, and carbon monoxide gas also will be there. But if you take the overall percentage of carbon containing compounds in the atmosphere, it will be very less as compared to the remaining compounds. Okay, similarly, earth crust consists of very less amount of carbon containing compound, but if you look at around you, there will be large number of substances which consist of carbon containing compounds. Okay, even if you look at your body, it consists of it is made up of protein, right? Or it is made up of amino acids, right? And which consists of carbon containing compound. Amino acid is a compound which consists of carbon, nitrogen, oxygen and hydrogen. Okay, so amino acids combines to form protein, and protein makes up our body, right? So please understand, most of the materials that you can see around you is made up of carbon, and that's why a branch of chemistry which deals with carbon containing compound and is called organic chemistry. Okay, so let us start discussing the topics given in our chapter. Now we will discuss about the chemical properties of carbon, right? And please understand, carbon always forms covalent bonds. Covalent bonds. And we know that the chemical properties of an element depends upon the electronic configuration, right? Electronic configuration. You might be knowing the atomic number of carbon. What is the atomic number of carbon? Carbon has atomic number 6 and mass number 12, right? So when you draw the electronic structure, Bohr model of carbon, it will be like this. Will be nucleus. Nucleus will be there, and around which electrons are revolving. This is the first shell, consists of 2 electrons, and second shell, which consists of 4 electrons. So this is the structure of carbon according to Niels Bohr. Okay, this is Bohr's model of carbon atom. Now let's see how does it take part in a chemical reaction, how carbon takes part in a chemical reaction. Okay, we know that all the elements wanted to be stable, right? All the elements are trying to be stable. How do they become stable? How do they become stable? They can be stable only when they attain octet, right? Sorry, octet. Do you know what is octet, or do you know what is octet rule? Octet rule? Please understand, an element with octet rule says that an element with 8 electrons in its outermost shell is stable. An element with 8 electrons in its outermost shell is stable. Okay, so all the elements are trying to get 8 electrons in its outermost shell, in their outermost shells. Okay, for example, we know that oxygen atomic number is 8, right? Atomic number is 8, and the electronic configuration will be 2, 6. So if it gets 2 more electrons can be denoted by E minus. Okay, if it gets 2 more electrons, it will become 2, 8, right? Electronic configuration will become 2, 8, and if it gets 2 more electrons, it will become stable. Then only it will become stable, and that's why oxygen takes part in chemical reaction. For example, we know that magnesium atomic number is 12. Atomic number is 12, right? And electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 2. Oxygen atomic number is 8. Electronic configurations 2, 6. Why do they combine to form magnesium oxide? Please understand, if magnesium donates 2 electrons to oxygen, its outermost shell will be having only 8 electrons, right? Now this is the outermost shell, and the outermost shell consists of only 8 electrons. And if oxygen gets 2 more electrons, it will become 8. The number of electrons in its outermost shell will become 8. So after donating 2 electrons, magnesium will become Mg2 plus, because it has donated 2 electrons. If an element donates electron, it will become positively charged. Since magnesium has donated 2 electrons, it has become Mg2 plus, because 2 electrons are released. And oxygen is accepting 2 more electrons, right? So since it has accepted 2 more electrons, it will become 2 minus. 2 electrons are added. If electrons are accepted, they will become negatively charged. Since it is 2 electrons, the charge will be 2 minus, and that's why magnesium combines with the oxygen to form magnesium oxide. After combining these two elements, both the elements will become stable. That's why they are taking part in chemical reaction. And all the elements are trying to attain octet or trying to get 8 electrons in their outermost shell by taking part in chemical reaction. Have you understood? Now let's see how does carbon can attain octet. Okay. In the case of carbon atom's outermost shell consists of how many electrons? 4 electrons are there, right? It requires 4 more electrons to be stable. 4 more electrons are required for a carbon atom to be stable, right? But it will not be able to accept 4 more electrons. It will not be able to accept 4 more electrons because it is not able to accept 4 more electrons because its nucleus consists of only 6 positive charge, because its atomic number is 6. Atomic number means number of protons, okay, and number of protons, if number of protons is equal to 6, the number of electrons will also be 6. Number of electrons will also be 6. Number of protons will be equal to number of electrons, okay. And if atomic number is 6, number of proton is equal to 6. Number of proton will be 6 and number of electron will also be 6. And we know that proton has positive charge and electron has negative charge. Neutron has no charge, okay. So how many protons are there inside the nucleus of carbon? 6 positive charge, 6 protons are there, right? And these 6 protons are attracting or holding the electrons. Actually, these are the particles which hold the electrons, okay. So then we know that nucleus has positive charge and nucleus is attracting all the electron towards it, and that's why electrons are there around the nucleus, right? Okay. And please understand, only 6 positive charge is there inside the nucleus, and 6 positive charge cannot hold 10 electrons. Already 6 electrons are there, right? The 6 positive charge are attracting or holding 6 electrons, 6 negative charge, and it cannot hold. It won't be able to hold 10 electrons. If 4 more electrons are added, the total number of electrons will become 10, right? And this 6 positive charge cannot hold 10 electrons. It is not able to hold 10 electrons. Understood? So this carbon atom cannot accept 4 more electrons to be stable. It is not able to accept electron. Another way, we know that helium is stable, right? Helium is a noble gas. It is stable even though it consists of only 2 electrons in its outermost shell. It is stable, right? Why it is stable? We know that first shell can accommodate only 2 electrons and the first shell is completely filled. That's why helium is stable. So if carbon attains the electronic configuration of helium, that means by releasing 4 electron, that means we know the electronic configurations 2, 4. By releasing this all the 4 electrons in the outermost shell, is it possible for a carbon atom to be stable? No, because by releasing 4 electrons from the outermost shell of carbon atom, carbon will become 4 positive charge, right? C4 plus ion. But this ion is highly unstable and it is not, it will not be formed, okay, because it requires huge amount of energy to remove this electron from the outermost shell, because they are highly attracted to the nucleus. Okay, it requires lots of energy to remove all these 4 electrons from the outermost shell. So this ion is not possible. C4 plus ion is not possible, and we know that carbon cannot accept 4 more electron to be stable, because nucleus consists of only 6 positive charge, and 6 positive charge cannot hold 10 electrons. So C4 minus ion is also not possible. So carbon cannot donate 4 electrons, or it cannot accept 4 electron. Then how does it take part in chemical reaction? And that's why it always form covalent compounds. It will take part in covalent bonding. Okay, let me tell you what is covalent bonding. We know that hydrogen has only 1 electron in its outermost shell, right? And another hydrogen, it consists of 1 electron in its outermost shell, and both these hydrogen atoms are not stable, because first shell can accommodate 2 electrons, only 1 electron is there. Okay, so it is not stable. They will become stable by sharing the 1 electron between each other. They have shared 1 electron between each other to attain a doublet, actually doublet. Okay, doublet. If hydrogen has 2 electrons around its outermost shell, it will be stable, and to make it 2, they have shared 1 electron between them. Okay, this electron belonging to both elements, both hydrogen atoms. When you consider this hydrogen atom, 2 electrons are there around it. When you consider this hydrogen atom, there are 2 electrons around it. So both hydrogen atoms have become stable, right? And this type of bonding, the elements are combined through sharing of electron. Elements are combined through sharing of electrons are called covalent bonding, covalent bonds. Okay, if elements are combined through sharing of electron is called covalent bonding. Okay, another one example, let me tell you another one example. Oxygen. How many electrons are there around oxygen? We know that outermost shell consists of 6 electrons, right? 6 electrons are there in the outermost shell of oxygen atoms. 6 electrons. With 6 electrons, an oxygen atom cannot be stable, right? So both this oxygen atom will share 2 electrons between each other. Now, see, if you consider this oxygen atom, how many electrons are there around it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you consider this oxygen atom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So by sharing 2 electrons each other, both oxygen atom will become stable, right? So this is how a covalent bonding formed. If elements are combined through sharing of electron, then it is called covalent bonding. If the elements are combined through exchanging electron, then it is called ionic bonding, that we have studied in our previous class. Okay, this is covalent bonding. And if only 1 electron is shared in between, or 1 pair of electrons is shared in between elements, then it is single covalent bond. And if 2 electrons are shared, 2 electrons are shared in between 2 elements, then it is called a double covalent bond, double bond. Okay, and if they are sharing 3 electrons, if 2 elements are combined by sharing 3 electrons, then it will be triple covalent bond. Okay, triple covalent bond. For example, nitrogen. hydrogen, we know that hydrogen has 5 electrons in its outermost shell, 5. Another nitrogen with 5 electrons in its outermost shell. Okay. So if they wanted to be stable, they require 8 electrons, right? So they are actually sharing 3 electrons in between the elements. Now just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons around this nitrogen atom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons around this nitrogen atom. They have shared 3 electrons each, right? This is what we called triple covalent bonding. Triple covalent bonding. So the elements are, if the elements are combined through sharing of electron, it is called covalent bonding. Clear? Covalent bonding. Now please understand, carbon cannot accept or donate electrons, so that it undergoes covalent bonding. It will undergo covalent bonding. That's why carbon always form covalent compounds. Okay. For example, please understand, carbon, we know that carbon has 4 electrons in its outermost shell, 4 electrons, okay, and each of this electron will be shared with other atoms like this. Now just consider we have taken 4 hydrogen atom, okay, and each hydrogen atom consists of 1 electron. So those electrons are shared with carbon atoms like this. Okay. This is how carbon makes compounds, by sharing of electron. 4 hydrogen atoms have shared 1 electron each with 4 electrons of carbon atom, and the total number of electrons around this carbon atom will become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Am I right? And hydrogen require only 2, right, to be stable, and 2 are there. Both elements have become stable. Okay, this is how carbon makes compounds through covalent bonding. Carbon cannot accept 4 more electrons, cannot donate 4 electrons, so that it always forms compounds through covalent bonding. Have you understood?